Welcome to another video chock full of quarters.
Let's get collecting. Let's see what we got for quarters. Oh, look at that. Grab a handful of quarters and we're going to put it into the case. Hi, this is Tammy.
And this is Greg, and we are chock full of quarters.
Today we are going to tell you the story about how we bought our laundromat. Why, when, how much, what we regret, what we don't regret. So also, just to let you know, stay tuned to the end of the video. We've got a couple things there. We have the code word for the chock full of nut.
Chock full of quarters.
Oh, did I say nuts?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Chock full of quarters contest to win the can of quarters. Also, the first winner of the can of quarters, D-Gal, has sent us a video of unboxing. So you can all see the can that was sent to them. And we want to say congratulations again to D-Gal. And also, we have, if you want to be a laundromat owner, tip also at the end of the video. So stay tuned for that.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and hit that like button because we know you're going to like what you see in this video.
Great. Want to get started?
Yeah, so basically, back in right around June of 2008, after a couple of months of research, Tammy had wanted to invest in a business. We decided, and she got the idea to look into a laundromat might be a good investment. So she started doing her research, going on the different forums that were out there at the time, and YouTube really wasn't a big thing to go into and have laundromat owners tell you what their experience was. So she went on and found out all the things she could from the forum and asked all the questions she thought of and did all that. And then we decided to go looking for a laundromat. So we found a small little closed laundromat in our town, and it's attached to a convenience store. And we I think there was a for sale sign, or somehow we found out the owner's phone number, and we gave him a call, and we left a message for him to call us back.
And as we were waiting for him to call back, I decided I wanted to do a little research because they were closed. But everything looked like it was intact. The dryers, the washers, it was really small. It was 10, maybe 8 dryers, and
yeah, something.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. It was small. It was very small. So I called the local repair guy, and his name is Ray. Well, we've changed everybody's name, so his real name's not Ray, but we call him Ray. And I asked him, I'm like, do you know anything about this place? Would you know why it's closed? Do you know anything about the equipment? He's like, oh yes, you don't want to be buying that place. They don't take care of their equipment. Where we installed it, it's not a good investment. And I was a little disappointed. I think he heard it in my voice. And then he just says, well, my son Tim, he's looking to sell his laundromat. And I just perked up, and I'm like, oh, where is it? And and I said, can I talk to him? And he's like, well, he's not here, but I'll have him give you a call. But here's where the laundromat is. Why don't you go take a look at it? I was out to the car before I could even hang up. And we went down, and we pulled up, and I jumped out of the car, and I ran in, and I'm like, wow, this is great. There's just so much potential. And
I had the very opposite reaction to that. I was like, oh, this is it. Because I had a job, a 40-hour-a-week job, so it wasn't like I hadn't been doing nearly as much research as Tammy had done, and she knew all the places, what to look for, and the potential of the laundromat and all that stuff, and I was just like, this is not very nice.
And it wasn't.
And she was like, that was the whole point.
Yeah.
That's,
So you're going to see some pictures popping up of what we took these pictures that day. And Greg was not impressed, and I thought he was going to run away. And it was extremely hot in there because the air conditioning was broken, and it was hot. Oh, yeah. It was unbelievable. And
it being June, y'all have seen the videos we do and all the the windows we have, you have to understand our windows are all south facing. So when it's, June,
It's hot.
or July or August or whatever,
gets hot.
you have to have that air conditioning working. That's not, it's just not a choice you have. That's got to work.
Yes,
Otherwise,
it is.
it's an oven in there.
Yeah. So we took some pictures, and he called us a couple. We left, and then
It was later that it
Yeah.
was late in the afternoon. He called us
goes
back.
Yeah, he called us back, and I asked him. I said, "Well, what is the price?" And he said, $140,000. And anybody who's been looking to buy a laundromat, I know you're probably all rolling your eyes right now. And I'll be honest with you, if I heard that today, somebody said that to me, I'd roll my eyes too, because you have to understand what happens when you want to buy a laundromat, especially when you find one. You're like, your blood starts to pump, and you're like, I want this so bad. So we were talking to him, and we were talking about purchasing, and how it was. I had questions I had a lot of questions for him, and I had questions for him that I already knew the answers to, or at least what I had learned from the forums, because I wanted to see if he was going to answer me truthfully. I didn't want, and what I found was he first started out with, "Oh, I'm getting 3 to 5 turns per day. I'm doing so much money," but he wouldn't give me specifics. And and I would let him talk, and their philosophy, and I'm going to be real honest with you, their philosophy in business was, build it and they will come. And I had a problem with that philosophy, because I don't believe that. Because what I was seeing, his wife would open up the laundromat in the mornings. It was cleaned once a week, and the girl that works for us now, she cleaned it on Saturdays. And in that whole, can you imagine, like, it just being filthy all week long, and then somebody comes in and can only clean so much because everything's just hardened up, and so it was a mess in there. They had an insect, they had a roach problem. There was just so many problems. So I was excited, and because I knew I had already figured out it had all these problems, I was going to be like, okay, well, we want to make you an offer, and this is how and you're going to have to understand. So when he says to me, when I say to him, I want to make you an offer, his only response to me is, I don't have to sell. And he wasn't looking for any offers. It was $140, take it or leave it. And even though I had, he had said to me, most laundromats will sell. And now I knew this. Most laundromats, how they price a laundromat, or how they price their business, is 3 to 5 times net. We were at what?
I did the math. It was probably almost 6, or
Yeah, it was
even almost
it was.
7.
It was
up there.
It was up there. It really was.
For what he was doing, and it was
So I asked him for. So here's a couple things that I asked him for. I asked him for his tax returns. He had no financials. He kept no records of. If you've watched any of our videos, you see why we keep records. I keep records for 2 reasons. One, in case the IRS ever decides they want to audit us, and I'm truthful about my records. And 2, when I'm ready to sell my laundromat, here are my records. And when I charge them 4 or 5 times net, I have the backup. I have the information to back up what I'm saying. Like, this is what we're truly making. And so he didn't really kind of have that. So I went by his tax returns. His tax returns were somewhat useful, but here's what, and this didn't throw me off, because again, I'm so focused on getting this laundromat. I've got blinders on. So I asked for his water bill. I asked for a year's worth of water bills, and he says to me, I don't have them. I threw them out. And then I asked him for access. I said, can you get them from the water company? No, I don't know about that. And he was not willing to give me his water bill, and I know why now. And I'll tell you how it all kind of played out. He wasn't willing to do it. But again, I got my blinders on, and if I had had those water bills, I would have looked at him and said, yeah, we got to lower the price, because your water bill says this, that you're only using this much water, so that means you're only doing this much money. But so here's how this kind of plays out. Even if I had happened that way, and I had said to him, we're going to have to lower the price for this, he wouldn't have, and we would have lost out on this laundromat, because as we're negotiating and going through negotiations with him, the economy is collapsing. We are in this panic, and Greg and I are trying to liquefy our 401ks, and we're just trying to get this stuff into cash. I mean, there was one day we lost 10.
Yeah, it was like about 10,000
each out of our 401ks, and so we're losing all this money, and this is supposed to be our down payment or how we're going to pay for this. So we finally get all our money to cash, and we're ready to start really talking negotiations. And now, the big thing, when anybody tells you, what's the one reason to buy a laundromat?
It's recession-proof.
And we're here to tell you
that is an accurate
that is an accurate statement. It's the God honest truth.
Yeah.
Because we signed August 14th?
It was right in mid-August, I think. It was something
14th,
in August,
Yeah, August 14th. And everything was just, we were at that point, it was...
If you go back and look, that was right when everything was just... The clues were there. Looking back now, the clues were there that it was starting to happen, but
it was
that's
happening.
when it was happening.
And so we bought. So we decided to settle on the 140. We settled on the 140. We had $70,000 in cash to pay for half of it. The other half, we were unable to get. Even though both of us had excellent credit, nobody was giving any money because of what was going on. Mm-hmm. So, and we said to him, like, we have this much money to give you. Will you own or finance for 10 years? And he did. And we owned a laundromat. So the first, and we had the conditions of a no-compete clause. We also put in there, what was it? How many hours was it?
I think it was 40 hours of training per.
He would have to come in and train
show us the basics.
The basics, and some repair, some things that
how to change a belt. Some real simple stuff.
I think we used maybe 4 or 5 hours out of that. So we owned a laundromat. So the day we signed, we went to our lawyers and we all signed, and we came back to the.
And I got to say, the day we signed, felt like when I was buying my house, I was like really nervous.
Yeah.
Because that was, I mean, Tammy had her 401k, but. I would say a bulk of the money was mine.
Yeah.
And I'd been working since I was 12 to save that money up. Yeah. So it was like, I was like, oh my God, this is my life savings. And here I am handing it over to this guy.
Yeah. Greg definitely has a personality where he wants guarantees.
Yeah, and that's not. It's a business. It can go, businesses can go out. I can drive you around and probably show you a McDonald's that's shut down.
Yeah.
And that's the most successful company ever. So
we just,
it happens.
But he got over it, and I think, and it only took him about a month to get over it, and I'll tell you why. So we signed, we did all the paperwork, and we went back to the laundromat with Tim, and he needed to take all of his quarters out, and he says to us, swear to God not, says to us, you're only going to need about $800, in quarters to put it into the machine every week. And Greg says to him, looks him dead in the eye.
It's like, but the machine holds 12.
And he's like, but don't worry about it. You're only going to need 8.
You're only going to need 8. Yeah, let me tell you,
and so
the way he ran it, that was true.
That was true.
We run it.
Yeah. So within a month, here we are. So I mean, within a month, within the first week, we started to clean up. We fumigated. We got rid of Scully McViking, who was just probably, we have discovered, was probably the reason why Tim never really did well, was because he was causing problems down there. But Scully is a whole other story. So we started to clean up, and within a month and a half, we were 30% above.
Yeah.
Above $800, and it was, and it just continued to grow and grow and grow. And we've had our up years, we've had our down years,
but by the end of the year, we were not only at the 1,200 that the machine would hold, but we were having to come in midweek and put a little bit back in.
Yeah, we were.
And we worked our way up to where we're at.
By December, we were doing $1,500. I think we were doing $1,500 a week, and it was just, and it kept growing. And we've had some great successes, and I I look at it and I'm like, well, people ask me, well, would you spend $140,000 again? And I'll tell you right now, if I had said no to him, he would have been like, okay. He would have held on to his laundromat, and then the recession would have started, and he would have never let go of it, because he knew the same truth as us, is that they are recession-proof.
It is, yeah.
It is.
You got to understand, people do not want to walk around smelly.
Yeah.
No matter how much money they have,
here's
they don't want to smell.
Yeah,
So.
one of the biggest problems was, or is, with being recession-proof was what happened was the recession came, and people's washers and dryers were starting to break, and nobody was giving anybody credit. You couldn't go out and buy yourself a washer and dryer. People weren't selling their washers and dryers either. Mm-hmm. So if you had one, you held on to it and you took care of it. And I mean, what we had customers coming like, oh, my washer's out, I can't get credit. Yeah. So they would spend like the next year at our laundromat, and because they just couldn't get a washer and dryer. And what was it, 2010?
Yeah.
2010 was like our best year. I mean, we were just...
We were kicking butt.
We were. We really were.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the story of us buying our laundromat. Yeah. And do we regret it? No. Do I wish I could have got it for a cheaper price? Oh, absolutely. I will tell you, when we finished, because we got a 10-year loan with him, when we paid that off,
yeah, we were.
Oh, we were. You never felt. I felt like this. The biggest weight of the world, was just lifted, and it was. Yeah. It's just. It's
like when you pay your mortgage off. Mm-hmm. You're like, wait a second, I get to live here and don't have to pay anything anymore. Yeah. We're like, and we were the same way. We get to run this business and actually keep the money.
Yeah.
What a novel idea.
Yeah, and so do I feel like I got a little cheated by him? I did for a while. I did. I had a little bit of resentment sometimes, especially when we tell you the other stories of the things that we found wrong in the laundromat, when we would start to discover those things. But I had a little bit of a victory in the end, because when their repair company, decided to close up shop and they all wanted to retire, he couldn't sell his inventory. They had about $40,000 worth of inventory,
quite a bit of stuff
that they couldn't sell. Nobody wanted it. I don't know why. I have no idea. And I happened to be in there one day, and I looked at him and I said, "You're probably going to throw me out when I say this to you, but it's what I have." I said, "I have $500 in my pocket. I will buy all of that inventory from you for $500. And he laughed at me, and I said, "Well, if you change your mind, give me a call." He called me the next day. And Greg and I hauled out $40,000 worth of inventory, and now we sell it. And that has been because I'm able to sell it off. I've been able to make back kind of some of what I felt like was maybe taken from us, or maybe it was just a gift, a gift from God that, he took pity on us, and gave us this opportunity, and that's what I saw. I saw it as an opportunity. So. We now sell also, what's left of his inventory. Mm-hmm. But, so that is the story of our laundromat. We still have other stories that are going to come out of the sale of the laundromat. So we didn't want to tell you. I know you're all eager to hear all these stories and you want to hear them. And if I told you everything in one video, what would you have next week? Yeah.
Plus we'd be here for 3 hours.
Yes. Or it'd be longer than that. It would be longer than that. The other thing is that this is maybe just for me doing these YouTube videos and telling you these stories. I'm not a very patient person, but this is teaching me some patience on how to lay these out for you and tell you these stories, because there are stories, and we find them interesting, and we hope that you all find them interesting too.
And we hope you can learn from them.
Especially if and if you're thinking about getting in the business. Oh, if I had somebody who had told me these things, or I'd been able to watch videos.
Or if you never thought about owner financing, you always thought you had to get a loan from a bank.
Yeah.
Probably. When we sell our laundromat, I look at that as my retirement. Yeah. If I can get somebody who maybe not for 10 years, but for 20 years
who wants
to pay me for 20 years, don't, you know.
Yeah, maybe we'll do one. You know, and I do think
That's our retirement.
I'll be honest with you. I was really happy that he chose to owner finance with us, and you know, it helped us. And you know, you may think, oh, it's just a financing thing, but it also helped us. It helped us get this business. So if another person who wanted to buy my laundromat says, you know, I can't get a loan from the bank, but I have this much money down. I want to work hard. I want to do this. I'd be like, I'll help you. Let's do this. You know, so. Okay, we're starting to run over a little bit. So once again, thanks for tuning in. We do have what's coming up next week. I can't remember.
I can't remember what story we're gonna.
I can't remember either. And I think it's because we're a little excited because our daughter's coming to visit, and we're really excited about that. We're gonna spend some time with her.
So stay tuned and watch the unboxing of the quarters that we sent, and for the code word and the tips from a laundromat owner that's coming up here in just a second. But don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified of any future videos, and hit that like button.
Helps the channel. It really
helps
does.
The channel. We appreciate it.
And we appreciate all of you and all of the subscribers. Oh my gosh, all of the comments this last video. Oh my gosh, how wonderful is that? That has just been. We love that you're interactive with us because I open up my email in the morning and like, oh, you've got all these notifications, and I get on there and I'm like, I'm so happy to see, you know, that everybody wants to comment, and you know, so if I don't answer right away, it may take me a day or two, but I will answer. I will try.
Or we'll try to do it in the next video.
Or we'll try. Yes, or we'll try.
But just remember, subscribe, like, and hit that notification so you know what's going on. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Tammy and Greg. This is Daniel, your first chock full of quarters winner. So I'm going to do the unboxing for you real quick. Just received it a few minutes ago. And there we have it. Chock full of quarters. Looky there. All right. Yesterday was my birthday, so this is going to be a good birthday gift. Thank you, guys.
And the code word is.
Okay. Here's a tip if you want to be a laundromat owner. Pick yourself up one of these. It's all about working smarter, not harder. I try to preach this to my employees. They get paid per day. So if they come in and clean the laundromat, they get one flat fee. And if it takes them 2 hours to do it because they want to, you know, piddle around, then they get paid whether they're here an hour or 2.5 hours. So this makes it go a little easier. It's just used to wash off the tops of the topplers and inside the drums. Sometimes there's soap on the agitator. It just helps kind of break it off. And if by doing this, it keeps a lot of that dirt down, and it just makes your laundromat look nicer. It looks like that we spend all this time, you know, cleaning, and if it's done every day, it looks good. So I think this cost $19.99 at Home Depot. We've had this one. I think this is our third one we've gone through, but it's great. It works well. A little tip for you.